A hermit of the Crystal Mountain. The moon arose over the mountain peaks, illuminating everything with its bright softness. She was finally at her fullest. Thus, the perfect moment had arrived for Swan to set out on his solitary quest to encounter the elusive hermit woman who saw everything. Akakapak set off with Solana, leading him upwards and northeastwards from On. The path that they followed was almost invisible. It obviously was not much used or known. They climbed onwards until they reached the summit of a high pass through the mountains. There stood a rock cairn called an Apachitavaka. This served as a shrine to the mountain spirits or Apu. Akakapak explained all of this to Swan as he carefully placed a rock that he had brought with him from Man upon the pile as an offering. Solana gazed down at the heathen wall far below. He could see the pyramid of Anani rising through the night mist, bathed in silvery moonlight. It was wrapped in an aura of deep mystery. Again, did a pang of familiarity strike him. I know this view well. I have seen it many times before, perhaps in some of my dreams, he told Akakapak, much amused. Akakapak made ready to depart for whence they had come. The trail begins on the other side of this pass, he explained. It is extremely southern and cannot be seen by ordinary men. It can be perceived only by those with the insight. The path is delineated by white luminescent rocks, which reveal themselves only when the moon is at her fullest. Follow these stones and fear not where they shall lead you. Sometimes it may appear as if the trail steps off the side of a cliff or ends nowhere. Focus with each resides and you shall have no problems in finding your way. When the light of the first dawning appears, you shall be at your destination. My blessing go with you, dear brother. Akakapak bowed ceremonially with arms of praise to Savannah, who returned the gesture. Akakapak, how do I find my way back to Let the hermit reveal that to you, he replied with a smile as he waved farewell and was gone. Solana gave one final look at Amani. The clouds had almost totally obscured it, yet the peak of the pyramid still emerged above the mist. What a fantastic vision, Solana thought. It's disappearing as if it were merely a dream. Walking to the Pachita wagon, he placed a tiny white shell upon it that he had carried with him all the way from Rapa Nui. Then he continued on over the path, all the while searching for a sign of the white stones which were to mark his trail. But he could not see them anywhere. Solana was puzzled, but not discouraged. He simply sat down, wrapping himself comfortably in his magenta poncho, and began to go inwards. When he found himself to be floating within the great sea of oneness, he slowly opened his eyes. Before him stretched a delicate line of shining white stones. Thus did Solana travel throughout that long and mystical night. The path did indeed endeavor to play its tricks upon him, yet Solana was fooled not. His inner vision led him straight and true. He faltered not, nor he stopped for rest until the dawning drew near. Then he spied a small pool of clearest water that was carefully outlined with shining white rocks. Carved in a nearby rock face spoke the words, "A good place for travellers to refresh themselves and await till dawn." A gold dipper rested upon a seat built out of stone. Solana set himself down and dipped the gourd into the water, sipping it slowly. The water was cool with a refreshing swishiness. He soon felt his fatigue slip away. In the pre-dawn darkness, nature prepares to awaken. He could feel the stirring of birds, animals, and plant life. All the life around him awakened. The air itself was pregnant with anticipation of the arrival of the sun. Nature seemed to whisper, "It comes again. There will be another day of life and light." As the sky grew ever brighter and the chill of the night began to fade away, Soluna continued on the final segment of his long night journey. The path crested a hill, and there the dawn broke open as the glorious sun emerged, radiating warmth and life, renewal to everything and everyone equally, breathing freshness and beauty out of her. Remember that the sun has no favorites. He shines in all. Ahead of him Solana spied a humble dwelling of stone tucked into the side of an imposing mountain. Beside it tumbled a small brook with dancing waters. There were trees of many kinds, splendid trees and flowers everywhere. The air was filled with myriad songs of birds. An elegant deer stood calmly drinking from the stream and raised its graceful head to glance at Solana with quiet curiosity. "How extremely beautiful! What an exquisite place to live!" exulted Solana. "But it is rather isolated for a woman to live here alone. This hermit must be quite an unusual person. It surely knew not what to expect." During the long duration of the night he had pictured the hermit as many different types and ages of women. He had not thought to ask him whether he would be meeting an old crone or a young maiden. He could see now that the house was round and had a tower-like room on top of it, which appeared to have 8 sides. Approaching the door, Solana noticed a small golden bell hanging next to it. With a sense of nervousness and anticipation, he softly rang the little bell. There was one clear note, and the sound of movement within came nearer and nearer to the door until it slowly opened. Green eyes met green eyes. They looked into and beyond each other. Solana thought for one dizzying moment that he was looking into a mirror. "Am I looking at myself, or am I perhaps being tricked?" he wondered. Those other green eyes continued to melt into his. It was as if they were both sinking deeply into an endless pool, tumbling, swirling around and around, and finally merging into one, find themselves in eternity nowhere. Solana stood as if transfixed. It was with considerable difficulty and willpower that he finally separated himself and moved back into the individuality of his being. I'm Solana," he stammered. The first time in his entire life, his incredible poise and balance seemed to have abandoned him. "Soluna," said she with a smile. "No, Solana," said he, pointing to himself for emphasis. "I am Soluna," she repeated firmly. "Why do you say the same that I say?" he asked. "I'm Solana." "You are not understanding. My name is Soluna," said she. "How can you be Soluna when I am known as Solana? Are you trying to confuse me?" he asked in perplexity. She smiled again. "It is simple. You are Solana, I am Soluna. Cannot you see our connection?" she asked. "We are twins. We come from the same star seed." "But I have seen you not before," Solana protested. "Yet it is not entirely the truth, for you are as familiar to me as I am to myself." "But I know you're not from this embodiment. How can it be? How can it be?" She laid her finger softly against his lips. "We will speak for this later. We have many things to talk about, much to discover. But that must wait for a while. Come, the hermit awaits you within." Soluna led him into the little house. The room was filled with brilliant prisms that danced and swayed with rainbow lights. It was sparsely furnished save for numerous crystals placed in niches where they caused the light from a sky opening. Sitting on a low stool in the corner was a woman clad in white. Her entire being emanated a strong white light, which seemed to brighten the entire room. Solana stared at her with intense interest, but could not make out her features clearly. They appeared to be constantly changing, appearing to be timeless. She could not pinpoint them within any particular age. She truly gave the impression of being all women in one. Could she not shift her consciousness freely through the dimension and move fluidly among the oceans of time and space? Thus she could know all thoughts, experience all motions, truly see out of the eyes of anyone who had ever inhabited this planet. The Hermit was a rather limitless being and quite unlike anyone Swan had ever encountered. The Hermit's eyes gazed into the depths of his being as she spoke to him thus. Welcome to this hidden place. I am the one whom you seek. I am the Hermit of the Crystal Mountain. I am extremely pleased that you have managed to make it thus far, Solana. Your arrival in An has brought tremendous joy to them. You have served well your higher purpose, priest of Rapa Nui. She gestured for Solana and Solana to sit down. Solana bowed with utmost respect and settled himself comfortably on the floor in front of Hor. Solana seated herself by his side, and he experienced the strangest feeling that he was in two bodies simultaneously, his and hers. They both listened to the hermit attentively. You have traveled to this remote place for two reasons. The first one of which you are already aware is to inquire into the fate of Balthazar, High King of Arnhem, it is not? Solana nodded his affirmation. The hermit continued. The second reason of which you are as yet unaware was to meet the woman who was beside you. She is the one who has always been beside you, but that you did not remember until now. We will speak first of your friend Balthazar. Let it be known that you have done for him a great service. He is now freed of his enchantment. The woman Moora of Tuvako lives upon this earth no more. She is dead by Balthazar's hand, killed by the very same dagger that was intended for you. She has finally returned to her people, and I shall assume that she will remain there for some time. She continued, understand that Balthazar is lost to all of us for the present. He enters a period wherein he will disappear from history. That does not mean that he shall cease to incarnate upon this planet, that he shall. In fact, he will continue his path of service and will constantly be observing and learning. We are watching carefully over him. It was written in the scripts of his chosen destiny that he would fall, thus fall he did, but I shall state that there is a higher purpose to his chosen path. Now as the phoenix he must begin his lengthy journey to full remembrance and forgiveness. The one whom he must forgive is himself. It has not yet been determined when you shall encounter him again, but one day you will. Remember that when you do, he will have but one chance to forgive himself for the harm that he almost brought to you. If he cannot, he will once again be lost for untold measurement of time. If he frees himself of his guilt and consciously awakens his memory, then he will be permitted to come to the Crystal Mountain one day and know complete and perfect healing. He will therefore be fulfilling his higher purpose. You see, there are many highly advanced souls serving on earth at this time who have volunteered to undertake experiences which appears to be a state of falling from grace. However, intrinsic to the falling shall be the rising. When this one's rise, not only will their personal karma be transmuted, but also a large portion of the planetary karma that they carry for all of us shall hereby be cleansed. Balthazar and the others like him, who have chosen to take on heavy responsibilities, make an immense sacrifice for the rest of humanity. Unfortunately, since they are currently experiencing the state of falling, they don't remember why they have chosen their particular path. It would be immeasurably easier for them if they did. Anyways, Lana, you need not worry about others anymore. Simply release him with unconditional love and forgiveness. The hermit paused and stepped into the silence for a time. Finally she spoke again. Solana and Soluna, thinking not that it is remarkable that you two bear such a resemblance, at least you have found each other. You are what is known as twin souls. Now that you have reconnected within the time-space dimension, you will never know separation again, though sometimes you may be continents apart. The hermit's beautiful smile warmed the entire room like sunlight itself. You are hereby given 4 days and 4 nights together. Then, Solana, you must depart here for on in order to complete the final leg of your lengthy journey to Atlantis. You have important work to achieve there. Solana is my apprentice and must stay with me for the present. The advanced civilization of Atlantis now doth approach its own time of completion, and you are needed there. At Atlantis you will be sent to a new land, which is being prepared to receive a direct infusion of light from the focus as well as some of the chosen survivors of Atlantis. Soluna will join with you there. That will be the time when your purposes unite. I will not meet with you again until the end of the next cycle. Farewell, my friend. This hermit has been most honored by your timely visit. Soluna will now take to her heart within the forest. It is time for me to return to the silence. My final words to you are, first there were the stars, from that came the angels, who became the humans. Now it is time to reverse the process. Forget not your golden wings. Savannah bowed once again with tears in his eyes. Hermit, I thank you profoundly for sharing with me your clear vision. I shall always look forward to that distant day when our paths shall again cross. The woman Soluna shook the man Savannah by the arm and walked with him to the doorway. Together they stepped outside into the vibrant glowing morning.